In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of working with isometric games in Godot. This includes placing the blocks with code or manually, as well as stacking blocks and using top and bottom half slabs. So let's go. Alright, so we have a blank Godot project here, and for the assets, I'm going to use the one I just showed in that example. So I've just imported the ISO tile set here. This is one I made. Feel free to use it in your project, link in the description. So let's add other node. Add a tile map. Up here where it says tile set, want to make a new tile set, then click on where it says tile set. Instead of a tile shape being square, we want that to be isometric. You'll notice this looks like just diamond. So to fix that, for the tile size, we want the X to be 32. This is the general way that people do isometric. You have the X value twice that of the Y value, and that's what my tile set works with. For the tile layout, we want this to be diamond down, and this basically sets up how we want the coordinate system to work. And we also use that with the vertical offset. I personally prefer this one because, as you can see when I mouse over here, that's 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and when I go the other way, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0. Those other ones are kind of weird. When you go down by one space like this, then increases both values. So now at the bottom, in the Tile Set tab, drag over the image with the tile set, and we do want to create the atlas. Now there's a few settings that we want to change here. You would think that we want the texture region size to match the tile size, but actually we want the tile size to be different because that's just the top face of the block, whereas the region size is just the whole block itself. We don't need all these blank ones, so a trick that you can use is click the three dots and say remove tiles in fully transparent texture regions. If we currently try to use this, so if we go to the Tilemap tab and I click on one of these, try to set this up, it looks like it might be working fine. This isn't really what we want. So in your game, when people are playing and they can only see the red part here, when they click on this part right here, they'd expect to be clicking on the red box, but they would actually be clicking this white one back here. So to fix that, we go to the Tile Set tab, go to Select. So select the tiles here. You can hold Shift to select multiple. You can go ahead and select all of them. In the rendering section for texture origin, this is specifically for the textures I'm using here. So if you're using the same ones, just basically align this very faint outline here you may or may not be able to see on your screen. We want that to be -8 here. See, that pushes it up like, oh, I want to draw this section up here. So now when they're playing our game and they click on anywhere in this red section, it's going to select that tile. So because we had all of them selected, they're all going to have that effect now. We do want it to be the same, this bottom slab here. That way it actually appears on the bottom side. So we're currently working on layer 0. If you want to have them stacked up like I showed in the beginning, we need to add another layer for that. So we can go to Add Element down in the Layers section. And if you want, you can name the first layer level 0, and we'll add in level 1 here. We want to go ahead and select a Y sort enabled on both of these. And you'll notice you might be getting some complaints up here, and we have to set that property on the whole tile map itself. So go up to the top and filter properties, and you can look for sort. And we want to enable Y sort. So what this does, this will make sure things draw correctly when they're behind each other. Back to our layers. You also want to set the Y sort origin to be 1 on level 1. So if we draw in, let's say, a blue tile, let's look at what it looks like when we are drawing on level 0. And that's not where we want this to draw. If you want it to actually be on top of this white one, we go to level 1. And so we also have to change the Z index. So we bring that up to 1. You can see now it actually draws on top of the white box here. And if you want, you can add in another layer. We can have a level 2 because we added level 0 and 1. Similar thing here, Y sort origin 2 and Z index of 2, and enable Y sort. Now if we want to put a box on top of this blue one here, you can just go to level 2, and draw it up there. There we go. And if we want to use the slab pieces, let's go to level 0. We want to draw it on the same layer here. And if we want to draw, let's say on top of this red one with a slab, we try doing that here. And that overwrites the white one, so we go to level 1 for that. There we go. And similarly for level 2, so let's go ahead and draw another red one over here on level 1. And if I use a bottom slab, I go to level 2. There we go. Next we can look at how to make some changes in a script. So we can add a script to our tile map. I'll keep the default name. Up top we can make a constant for whatever tile we want to place here. So let's say I want to place in a lot of these green ones. When I hover over this, it says this is Atlas coordinates 20. So we want to note that down here. So we can say green block Atlas pause is a vector 2i of 20. We can also make a constant for which source our blocks are in. So if they're in source 0, it basically just means the first source that we have here. The main source. So let's say when the game first starts that we want to place in multiple of the green tile. So we can just loop over that. So we can use set cell for that. So the layer that we're working on, something for that if we want to have placing blocks on multiple layers here. I think the best way to handle that would be an enum. So this is how you declare an enum. What this does, it's basically you can define multiple constants within one variable or group. So we can have a level 0. The ID for that is just 0. And we can similarly do this for level 1 and 2. I'm just going to copy paste that. It's a lot better to do this than having magic numbers in your program. So down here, when it asks for the layer, we can just say, referencing the name of our enum up here, layers dot, in this case, level 0 is where we want to place this. The coordinates that we want to place this, let's say that we want to place at vector 2i, and we'll start at, we'll do 2, 2, but we'll add in these x and y variables here. So 2 plus x and 2 plus y. The source ID, remember, main source is 0 here, the main source. And the atlas coordinates that we want to use, it's our green block atlas position, and we don't care about the alt tile. Oops, layers. Let's expand this again. I'm going to save this in the default location, and we can run this. I will select the current scene. It looks like this is a little hard to see, but we can see it did fill in our green blocks. To fix this, we can add this as a child to a main scene. I'm going to add a new node here. 2D scene, this will be main. We can add a camera 2D and also drag in our tile map. So this is still a little small, so we can go to the camera and zoom this in. I'm going to use a zoom value of, we'll just round this off to 2, and let's save this scene, the main one. And then you can right click on the main scene and say set as main scene. Now when we run the game, you can see it filled in our green blocks. And for good measure, let's say we want to place a block on top of this center one here. So for that, outside of our for loops, let's just copy this set cell line. In our case, we can just say +1 here, so we can just edit this to be 3 for both of these. Of course, you would want to use non-magic numbers here, and to place it above the existing green ones, you can say level 1, and our blue block's position in the atlas is 0, 0. So we can copy and paste our green block atlas position variable and name this to be blue block atlas position. So down here, instead of green block, we want to use the blue block. Yes, because we did not change this part. And because of the way this is set up, we actually want this to be at 2, 2. Make it line up where we want it to be. There we go. That is the basics for how you can use the isometric view in Godot 4.2. If you have questions, let me know below. Other than that, thanks for watching.